Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to wherever you are in the world and whenever you receive this video. Hopefully everyone is doing good. It has been very cold. I know where some of you guys are at. You're freezing. But even I, man, got a little bit of a damn bronchitis, man. It happens every time when it gets cold outside. It's been happening ever since. Shit. I started when I was like in my 30s, man. Every time. It started with them military exercises and wearing the gas mask. I don't know if it's the filters, what it was, but I used to keep that thing clean, but it messed up my lungs and shit. But anyway, here we are, man. We got to keep pushing, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I got like a 40-part series for Claressa Shields and Franchon. I think I'm going to give you part 2, 3, maybe 4. But we'll see how I'm feeling because I'm telling you, my ass don't feel good. But anyway, man, with Franchon and Claressa Shields, there are a couple things that people have been talking about nonstop the last couple months. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. And that's social media, relationships, and distractions. Now, some people only care about the boxing. Other people care about the distractions. The majority care about that relationship when it comes to both ladies, but in particular Claressa. But then you have some who care about it all. They want to talk about it all. But the reality is, social media, it has become a distraction. And I think we need to focus on just how they have grown around Claressa. Those battles, the relationship chatter that doesn't seem to be slowing down. And then the public feuds between Claressa, other colleagues, and even with, content creators. And the innocent, and I would say that the casual male or female who, has an opinion about her. But I think we need to explore these narratives and how they impact preparation, mental health, and public perception heading into what I think is, this isn't just a high-stakes fight with Franchon Dezurn. Like, this is really a make-or-break type situation. This is the most important fight of Claressa Shields' career. Now, I'll tell you this, Claressa Shields has a lot of fans who've been coming out, and defending her. And they say, look, you guys are trying to make it seem like this is the biggest fight of her career. The biggest fight of her career was getting out of Flint, Michigan, and she's done that. So what's going on here with social media and the public perception is nothing. And I hear that. I hear that, right? Because nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just a conversation. I don't see why people be getting all worked up over the bullshit, but I'll tell you this. Social media is no joke. And if you ain't built for it tough and have a little bit of decaf in you, and I ain't talking about decaf like decaffeinated coffee. I'm talking about don't give a bleep, 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 bleep. You're going to struggle because social media is a battlefield. Battlefield. Fighters now fight online daily, man. I sit back on Twitter and I watch and I'm like, this shit is crazy. But I've been watching that for a couple of years. Comments become opponents. You got to just let people say what they want to say or block them. Block them. Get that Mutombo going on. Get that Shaquille O'Neal going on. Block, block, block. Get that Victor Wembanyama going on. Block, block, block. Block their dumb asses. Can't be getting caught up with every post that happens out there because it's going to create a reaction. You gotta be able to take a deep breath and be like, these people don't know you. You probably got more happiness in your life than them. And most of them just sitting out here, man, they got bigger problems. But I think training camp for Claressa Shields, I don't know about now going forward, but I think for her, it was road work, sparring, and arguing online. That was her conditioning. But it seems like they're trying to get a grip on that because they had to. She was spiraling out of control. I had a conversation with her. Most people on the channel know. Claressa and I talked for like 49 minutes. I'd say 90% of the people were glad that I spoke to her. There's 10% who wanted me to basically try to embarrass her, shut her down, and then we probably would have only had 5 minutes of conversation because Claressa's a hothead. And I used to be a hothead. A lot of us who have grown, who have matured, you still have that quality in you. Somebody push the right buttons, it'll come out. So I recognized that. I said, yo, if I go the wrong route, it's gonna be more online arguing, over the phone arguing. Let's hear her talk. But what she did tell me, man, when we spoke, she just said that she feels like she's being bullied. Now, I'm gonna say this: social media is a battlefield. Clarissa did say she's gonna own the internet in 2026, and she has. But I think it took a toll on her. And I think her team looked and said, hey, we need to stop. And to be honest with you, I'm glad that somebody around her was able to kind of talk some sense into her and say, look, you can't fight every battle. Because when I interviewed her, I asked her, I said, yo, Clarissa, you have that much time on your hands? Because I asked her about going to people's DMs. I even talked to her about, coming to my page. We talked about it a lot. And you know what she said when I asked her, you got that much time on your hands? She said, man, it's like she took a deep breath. She said, man, I wish I did. And I said, yo, her training camps, road work, sparring, and arguing online. But after sitting here now mulling over how all that played out, I sense that she's just frustrated. But one thing during that interview that we had, the relationship talk, she didn't want nothing to do with that. And I was cool. I like, all right, you don't want to talk about it, whatever. The ladies, they feel a kind of way. I asked her, so why are they so mad? With me, I don't care. The ladies beat me up for 3 weeks. Some have jumped shit from the channel because they wanted me to sit there and push more when it comes to the relationship. But I've always said, I'm going to keep saying, a hood champion doesn't care. But I touched on it. She didn't want to talk about it. So, we pushed forward. But I will tell you, fans have stopped asking how she will box. You know what I'm saying? Fans are more talking about her relationship. Who is she falling out with behind the relationship? And I even did a video where I talked about, you know what? We got time, right? Let me see. I'll show y'all. Because I was listening to everybody talking, and I was thinking to myself, what the hell is the big deal? So, me, I do my research, man. And let me scroll down. I got so many damn videos on here. It's crazy. But I'm going to scroll down and see if I can find the one that I did. Because I thought it was interesting. So I did a video. I'm looking for it while I'm talking. About relationships and endorsement deals. And I'm scrolling down. I'm looking right. Okay. Okay, I think it was this one. I don't know. Let me see if I can show you this. Yeah, yikes, Clarissa Shields' attitude and family destroying her brand. No big endorsements. I think it was that one. Let me see if I did another one. It may have been that one. I've done so many. So y'all can go look at all these videos. These videos are very entertaining. They're crazy. I'm not taking them down either. And they're not members only. So y'all can go look at them. If y'all want to be entertained when you're riding to work, just go play all the videos that I did before. They're very entertaining. Yeah, I think that was the one. Anyway, you go back and and watch that video. And you will understand how relationships for anyone, not just her, right? Because I ain't singling her out. I'm just talking about the research I've done. When you're in a relationship that isn't received well, it's a market failure, and it can hurt your brand. Okay. But also, there's been a whole lot of talk about friendship drama, family drama, the perceived team instability, family instability. And one thing we know for sure when it comes to fighters, this is for all fighters. They need loyal camps. They need a clear focus. They need emotional stability. And when you have public fallouts, it creates distractions, divisions, leaks, a bunch of gossip, and people who were sitting at home scratching their ass, wasn't doing anything with themselves. They go out here and create a YouTube channel. And if you look at their videos, it's one thing. If you have a channel, talk about something and drop a couple Clarissa Shields videos, cool. But you go to the channel, they have like 150 members, subscribers, and they have 12 videos. Every video's on Clarissa Shields. You know what I'm saying? So the gossip, her putting a lot of her personal information out there to the world, she lost control of the narrative. And anybody can lose control of the narrative when you put too much information out. If you put out your real government name, there are people who go out there and pull your information. So when it comes to social media, you got to be careful on how much that you put out. Because you know what? Fans love drama. They love drama, but fighters pay the price. Everybody talking about this fight, talking about Franchon and what Franchon can't do and how this is a fixed fight. And all the drama, man, is just giving clicks. But it can drain a fighter's focus, a fighter's respect, a fighter's energy. Because you can't fight the internet and an opponent at the same time. That's why a lot of people are sitting back saying, yo, this fight here is a winners take all kind of situation. It really is. If Franchon beats Clarissa, it's going to be hard for her to deal with that. I think about Keith Thurman talking about losing to Pacquiao. That messed with him mentally. Talk about Danny Garcia taking his first loss. That messed with him. We all, if you don't know who they are, everyone for the most part knows who Adrian Broner is. That first loss messed him up. There's a lot of fighters, man, when they get that first loss, it's hard for them to deal with it, man. It takes a toll on them mentally. But again, I'm going to say, you can't fight the internet and the opponent at the same time. That's why he just got to, like I said, Mutombo, Shaquille O'Neal, block him, do whatever you need to do to just not see all the negative bullshit and just stay focused on the prize. Because at the end of the day, nobody on here knows each other. So why should you care? And the ones who you don't know, but if they're positive, embrace that. But the negative shit, Mutombo. Get them up out of here. Shaquille O'Neal, get them up out of here. But when you're someone out there in the public like Shaquille O'Neal, took it to the stupid, didn't I? Like Clarissa Shields, you can't escape that shit. Floyd Mayweather couldn't escape it. You know what I mean? De La Hoya, they still bring up shit from his past. Zab Judah still bring up bullshit. The internet is ridiculous, man. So much so to where it goes back to what I was saying, man, that the fixed fight speculation is just ridiculous. Look, I'm going to say this. Now hear this. There's no proof of any fix. But the online rumors exist. I even messaged Franchon and Clarissa. We talked. And I said, look, I've been trying to tell people, ain't nowhere in the world y'all throwing no fight. Like, when they hear that, you can just, their energy and nonverbals tell the story. They're like, man, get out of here with that bull crap. You know what I'm saying? But they understand the rumors exist. They know that they're friends. They know people are going to sit here and create narratives. But I realize that the distrust comes from reputation. And when it comes to Clarissa, like I said, there are, I say half of the boxing world, they have a lot of trust and respect for her. They just feel like, yo, she is who she is, leave her alone. But the other half are like, nah, we don't want to accept that. So as a result, the reputation to them is not positive, and they're like, if she'll come out here and do this or that, what else won't she do? And people are still trying to understand the win record's confusion. But the bottom line is, this shit is all perception. Nobody knows. Because fans are going to project narratives, and perception creates suspicion. And it goes to what I was saying a moment ago, win record confusion. It sounds like it's going to be blending music and boxing, but the thing is, fans don't know. People don't know they don't know what that shit is. They don't know nothing about that situation. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Even I don't know. So I just sit back here and like, yo, let it play out. That's my thing. Before I would make my jokes and stuff like that, but I mean, I've talked so much about it where I'm like, what I'm going to keep doing? I mean, what are we going to do that the next 5-10 years? I mean, that shit gets old after a while. if the timing's right, I'll drop a joke. But really, I think we're at a point where it's like, just let it play out. Let it play out. Because I realize from listening to the fans, they don't know if this, they're like, yo, is this a sport? Boxing is what they're doing, trying to keep it as a sport, or they're trying to kind of evolve and make it more entertainment. But the bottom line, it creates a bit of a blur. And it blurs the athlete identity. You know, you got to be one or the other. And I understand some people are like, hey, man, multitask. I've had some people say, hey, man, you are one of the best boxing channels. All you talk boxing, this and that. You got caught up in talking about these things. And, you know, I kind of jumped ship, but I'm back on. Thank you for getting back. But it's like, why can't a fighter be involved in different things and multitask and try to generate a little more revenue? And why can't different content creators, you know, go out here and kind of, you know, try to do different things? But everybody has a preference. But then again, it all comes down to identity. And when your identity gets blurred, fans are going to sit there and they're not going to know what to think about you. Now I'm going to tell you, when it comes to Franchon Cruz, she has opposite energy. Okay? Opposite energy. There's no online feuds except between her and Clarissa Shields where they're just promoting the fight. There's no rap persona, although she can sing. She can sing. She has a hit that was out there charting in the UK. Y'all need to go check her out. I think it's on iTunes. I posted that link in one of the lives. Franchon Cruz Dezurn gets busy. And she doesn't have any lifestyle branding. You know, Franchon Cruz Dezurn, she does a lot of things, and she talks about it, but for the most part, she's just all about trying to put these bing-bings on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, focus wins fights, people. Every distraction can steal minutes from film study. How you going to be there trying to do film study and your mind is on bullshit that's going on out here in the world and social media? How are you going to be able to go out there and give 100% when you're trying to condition your body and train? When you're thinking about bullcrap, you can't lock in to the task at hand. How are you going to be able to be focused when all these distractions are taking minutes from your mental sharpness and polishing up and working on those little deficiencies you may have? You know what I'm saying? But this is why I think the discipline beats noise, and we're going to find out who has the most discipline. You know what I'm saying? We are going to find out. Now, let me type something here real quick. I want to see if I can pull something up for you. This damn thing tripping. Okay. And that's really what it comes down to. Discipline, man. Discipline. And that's how you can survive the chaos, man. So for people out there who feel like, you know what, there are a lot of people who are hating on Clarissa Shields. There are. But I'll tell you what, Clarissa seemed to have gone quiet lately. Franchon has gone quiet. I haven't been on Twitter or anything, spending too much time on there, so I don't know if they're still feuding, trying to promote the fight. I just think, look, we're under 30 days out. We're 25 days out. This is the time to lock in. This ain't the time to be playing around. It's the promotion bullshit. You know, let social media do what it does. Stay off of there. You know, they got to lock in. You've got to lock in. You see that Tyson Fury's coming back. He's fighting on Netflix. Big deal, man, fighting Arslanbek Makhmudov. I truly believe if Franchon Cruz wins this fight, she may get an opportunity to fight a big name and somehow, well, first I think she'll get a rematch. I'll put it to you that way. I think she'll have to give Clarissa a rematch. And that's what I think is going to happen. And it'll probably be the same thing in Baltimore. They'll have to fight somewhere. It won't be something on Netflix. But if Clarissa beats Franchon, you better believe that her next fight is probably going to be against an even bigger name, someone who the fans are demanding that she fights. And, of course, we all want Shadesha Green to be next. But they're going to do what they want. But I will tell you, if it ends up being Shadesha Green, I 100% believe that that fight is going to go to Netflix. And this is what's on the line. Now, Clarissa Shields has talked about, hey, if I make a certain amount of money, I ain't fighting no more, right? She's throwing numbers out there jokingly. But what we know is she means that. But if she can beat Franchon Dezurn, then go get a big fight against someone like Shadesha Green, they promote it and build it up just right, and she can get that fight. And who knows? Because Shadesha's with Jake Paul, they may be able to sort something out to where I don't know who would be the main event. Maybe Clarissa and Shadesha would be the main event. They'd have to figure it out. They'd have to stack that undercard. There'd have to be some big names on that undercard. But the bottom line is it could somehow end up being on Netflix. And it could be a situation where Clarissa Shields now gets the kind of money that she feels she deserves and the kind of money she was hoping to get when she was, trying to put the squeeze on, one of my favorite fighters, Layla Ali. But if she loses, all that kind of goes up in flames, you know what I'm saying? And I know one thing for sure, she doesn't want that to happen. Dimitri Salita doesn't want that to happen. Win Records doesn't want that to happen. And the Clarissa Shields contingent, they definitely don't want that to happen. They want her to 100% come out here, dominate, get the victory, and be on to the next. Because the reality is, a lot of fans are just sitting back and just waiting to see fighters, athletes, see them fail. I was talking to somebody the other day. You wouldn't believe it. They were out here disrespecting Michael Jordan. Talking about Michael Jordan wasn't that great of a basketball player. All they talked about was LeBron James. And then during this conversation, there's another guy who chimed in, and he was just tearing down LeBron James, saying that LeBron James misses a whole bunch of shots. He's not that good of a basketball player, but he was bigging up Michael Jordan. So what I'm getting at is, when it comes to social media, people just sit back, man, just waiting to talk and say whatever it is, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to go out here and get ready to do part 3 and 4 and drop that for y'all. But I'm looking forward to this fight, and I'm also looking forward to see if Errol Spence is really coming back and if he's going to work with Robert Garcia. I really want to see how that plays out. But anyway, it's just all rumors about Earl coming back. And Robert did say, hey, everyone thinks I'm just a fighter who trains in that Mexican style. He would love to train slick boxers, black fighters. And I'm thinking with Earl Spence and his style and Robert Garcia and what he brings to the table as a trainer, I'm thinking that right there may be a match made in heaven. But it doesn't matter what I think. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do what they want. But I would like to see that. I don't think Earl would want to pick up. His family's all in Dallas. He got his kids. He got his ranch. I don't think he'd want to move that far, but he probably wouldn't mind working with Robert Garcia. Anyway, all rumors, all speculation. But y'all keep cool, all right? Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Go drink some tea, man. Damn chest bothering me. In the breeze.